Hello and welcome to the program today. I'm Layo Olarinde. We begin here in West Africa, where Niger's military government is asking the regional court to order the lifting of sanctions imposed on the country by its neighbors following a July coup that deposed elected President Mohamed Bazoum. Yunkela Yaye, one of the government's lawyers, argued at the hearing in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, that there is no sector of the Nigerian society that has not been affected by these sanctions. After a group of soldiers calling itself the National Council for the Safeguard of the Homeland toppled Bazoum, a raft of economic sanctions were imposed by the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. Other countries, including the US, that had provided aid in health, security and infrastructural needs, also suspended their support to Niger. The sanctions are the most stringent yet imposed by the regional bloc in an effort to stem the tide of coups in the Sahel region. Mali's military government has signed an agreement with Russia that includes a gold refinery project in the Malian capital, Bamako. The deal involves building the refinery to process 200 tons of gold annually, and it's to be valid for 4 years. According to the Finance Ministry, the project will allow Mali to control all gold production in the country and correctly apply all taxes and duties. Gold is Mali's leading export product by value, and it's also one of its largest contributors to economic growth, and that's according to the country's mining ministry. Mali has strengthened its relations with Russia in recent years following the coup in 2021 and the withdrawal of French forces from the country a year later. All friends and family are commemorating the life of Clemens Mtenga. He's a Tanzanian student who was taken hostage in the Hamas attack on Israel. The ceremony was held at a mortuary in Petah Tikva, Israel, attended by representatives from the Tanzanian Foreign Embassy, Israel's Foreign Ministry, and fellow students on the academic program that Clemens was completing. Fellow students who had been living with Mr. Mtenga on Kibbutz Ni'oz says it's been incredibly painful for him to leave them suddenly. Well, the Tanzanian Foreign Ministry say they are liaising with Israel to send Mr. Mtenga's body back home to Africa. An update now on the situation of Gaza's premature babies that were evacuated from the Al-Shifa hospital. Officials say they are being treated in Egypt's Arish hospital, and that's 2 days after being transferred from the Strip. Arish hospital manager Ahmed Mansour says the facility is now preparing to receive more cases from Gaza. Some of the babies which were evacuated from Gaza's Al-Shifa hospital have already received treatment at Arish and been moved on to other units. In the meantime, more foreign passport holders have crossed from Gaza into Egypt through the Rafah border crossing ahead of a planned truce between Israel and Hamas. Families entered Egypt with their luggage, while fuel trucks passed the border in the other direction to Gaza. A limited evacuation began this month, helping foreign passport holders and Palestinians needing urgent medical treatment to move into Egypt. The process has, however, faced difficulties. It has been paused several times due to bombardments that aid staff said hit or targeted medical convoys. Well, let's speak now to Linda Gratton, the VOA's correspondent in Israel, for the latest on what is happening. Hello, Linda. Thank you for speaking to us at this time. All right, Linda, I'll need you to unmute your mic so we can hear you clearly. So I would like to ask you firstly to talk about the babies that were evacuated from Gaza about 2 days ago and are being treated in Arish. What more can you tell us? All right, it appears we would try and reconnect with Linda. But in the meantime, moving on to other stories. In South Africa, opposition leader Julius Malema and 5 other members of parliament from his Economic Freedom Fighters Party have been punished with a 1-month suspension without pay from parliament. Well, the Parliament's Powers and Privileges Committee found them guilty of contempt of parliament for storming the stage during President Cyril Ramaphosa's State of the Nation address back in February. The committee mandates the EFF members to also make an apology in person in the House to the President, the Speaker, and also the citizens for disrupting the President's address and putting the country in a bad light. The suspension of the 6 MPs will run during the whole month of February next year, meaning that Mr. Malema and the other 5 members of parliament will be blocked from attending the president's next State of the Nation address, which is due in that month. On Monday, the EFF MPs refused to participate in the hearings against them after the committee declined their request for postponement. Statistics South Africa says transport inflation almost doubled in October, driven up by increases in fuel prices. The price of 95-octane petrol rose to 25 rands and 68 cents a litre, the second highest price for petrol ever. Well, higher food prices were another big contributor to the jump in consumer price inflation in October. CPI, which measures the monthly changes in prices for a range of consumer products, increased for a 3rd consecutive month. It now sits at 5.9%, up from 5.4% in September. Stats SA's Patrick Kelly said that a total of 4 categories drove up prices.
Transport inflation quickened to 7.4% from 4.2% in September. The rise was mainly due to a 6.5% monthly increase in the fuel price, taking the annual rate to 11.2% from 1.5% in September. The price of inland 95-octane petrol rose to its 2nd highest level ever, 25 rand 68 cents per litre, from 24 rand and 54 cents a litre in September. Vehicle inflation eased to 7.8% from 8.4% in September. Restaurants and hotels registered an annual price rise of 6.3%. Menu prices are 6.4% higher than this time last year, and hotel rates increased by 9.7% between September and October, taking the annual rate to 6.1%.
The Democratic Republic of Congo's military says it will punish any soldier that is in contact with a largely Hutu rebel group linked to the 1994 Rwandan genocide. The army says anyone, regardless of their rank, who broke the ban on dealing with the FDLR militia would be arrested. Well, this announcement follows pressure from the United States on both Congo and Rwanda to lessen tension between them. Rwanda is widely believed to have set up the Tutsi-led M23 rebel group to counter the FDLR. Rwandan authorities, however, have always denied the allegations of supporting the group. We have now Linda Gradstein back with us, the VOA's correspondent in Israel. Hello, Linda. Good to have you back. Let's talk about the latest that's happening at this time. The hostage deal that was, expected to have happened today, but was delayed. What more can you tell us about when it will finally happen?
Well, just a few minutes ago, Qatar put out a statement saying that the ceasefire will come into effect at 7 a.m. local time tomorrow, and the first group of hostages will be released at 4 p.m. local time. That means that the ceasefire will be starting before the hostage release. Israel has not confirmed that timing, but in any case, it's expected to happen tomorrow. And of course, the families of the hostages, it will be done in 4 groups. So just the first 10 or 11 hostages will be released. Israel does have a list now of who will be released. And for the families, you know, it's just been 7 weeks of absolute anguish, and they're just sort of waiting on pins and needles for it to happen.
All right. What more can you tell us about Egypt? You know, we know Egypt has been quite strategic and instrumental in receiving those that are evacuating from Gaza. How has this process been since this began this month?
Well, you know, there are now, a few days ago, there were 29 premature babies who were evacuated from Shifa Hospital, taken to Rafah, which is the crossing point between Gaza and Egypt. And the reason that Egypt has been so essential is because other than Israel, the only country that has a direct crossing from Gaza is Egypt. And Egypt also has good relations with both Israel and with Hamas. Egypt has a peace treaty with Israel, and of course, Egypt has been very active as well in negotiating this ceasefire. So Egypt has accepted some of the wounded, especially these babies that I just mentioned. Quite a few of these babies, they have all kinds of respiratory illnesses, and they're fighting for their lives. Some of them have their mothers with them, but some of them don't. And in addition, Egypt has also been a conduit for those with dual citizenship who've been able to leave the Gaza Strip and go to Egypt, and then from Egypt go to their home countries. So Egypt has played a very important role, both in terms of accepting all of the wounded people and offering treatment, offering aid coming through Rafah, the crossing point. The aid is then taken into Israel, where Israel inspects it to make sure that there's no weapons or other things, and then it's brought again in through Rafah. If the ceasefire starts tomorrow as expected, there's expected to be a large flood of humanitarian aid because with no fighting, it will be able to get more trucks in of food, fuel, medicine. So Egypt is going to be even more active once that ceasefire starts.
All right, then, Linda, we'll just have to wait and see that and hope that, you know, the ceasefire comes into effect and the much needed humanitarian aid is given to those in need. Thank you so much, Linda, the VOA's correspondent in Israel. Nigerian residents in the UAE say they are losing hope in the federal government to resolve the diplomatic row between both nations and are renewing their calls for action. Well, this comes after Aviation Minister Festus Keyam's recent tweet re-echoing a 2-month-old promise made by the presidency that flights between both countries will resume. Well, this next report has more details.
Over 2 months since President Tinubu's visit to the United Arab Emirates capital, and despite the promises that all issues between both nations have been resolved, there's yet to be any improvement in the day-to-day realities of Nigerian residents caught in the mix. Instead, more promises are being made. Minister of Aviation Festus Keyamo in a tweet reaffirms that talks are still ongoing regarding Emirates flights to Nigeria, adding that the airline will soon, quote, announce the exact date of their resumption of flights, a message which has drawn varied reactions and calls for more action than words.
With a pinch of salt, because we have seen and heard such assurances are coming more often recently. And it seems the Nigerian government, under the leadership of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, they don't feel the pulse of Nigerian citizens living, working in UAE.
Conducting business in the Middle Eastern country as a Nigerian passport holder comes with unique challenges. Several investors who spoke to Channels Television anonymously say they are now moving their businesses out of the country. The same is happening with skilled workers.
issue persists the next year, there'll be a mass movement of people, because those of us that even have visa now, many people, their visa will finish 2024. And when that happens, we just hope it will not be a situation whereby Nigerian government will be sending plane for repatriation again. And that is why they need to finish this issue as soon as possible and make sure that Nigerians living, working in UAE can get work permits.
Demand for second citizenship by Nigerian residents has also increased in the last year.
We've seen thousands of applications for second citizenship from Nigerians based in Dubai, and hundreds of them have come on board different programs. The truth is that there's no trust among Nigerians in government officials and a lot of the information coming from the Nigerian government. For many of them, they're not able to actively participate in trade. Over $1.6 billion of trade was done between Nigeria and the UAE between 2021 and 2022. But a lot of that has reduced down, with a lot of people afraid to go about their business. A lot of people are afraid because they cannot come into the UAE to do their business and meet with their partners.
As the new year draws ever closer, Nigerian residents in the United Arab Emirates will be on the lookout to see if the Nigerian government can indeed deliver on its promises. From Dubai in the United Arab Emirates, Maya Wadeguke for Channels Television News.
Cameroon has received its first shipment of Mosquirix malaria vaccines manufactured by British drug maker GSK plc as the nation struggles with the mosquito-borne disease that kills more than 600,000 each year globally. A batch of 331,200 doses of the vaccine, also known as RTSS, was offloaded at Yaoundé's International Airport, making Cameroon the first African country to receive the vaccine after pilot programs in Ghana, Kenya and Malawi. The Health Ministry says the initial consignment of vaccines will go to the 42 out of 203 health districts in the country. Well, malaria remains one of Africa's deadliest diseases, according to the World Health Organization, killing nearly 500,000 children under the age of 5.
Cameroon is one of 11 countries in Africa which has a very high burden of malaria, and that is why we're amongst the first countries being able to receive the vaccine. You must know that every minute, one child under 5 dies from malaria worldwide. So this vaccine is a chance to prevent many deaths and make a step forward in the lives of the children. So thank you so much to all of you, to our donors, to our partners for making this happen, for helping us on this journey. Please stay tuned and see when we vaccinate the first child in Cameroon.
Nigeria's Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Dr. Bosun Tijani, says that for the first time in the history of Nigeria, young Nigerian tech talents are now exposed to the practical demonstration of artificial intelligence. The minister, who was speaking after a tour of SAIL Innovation Lab in Ikorodu area of Lagos State, also said that through the initiative and in partnership with Elwari AI, Nigeria now has a workforce building AI solutions for our own realities.
Steering the artificial intelligence revolution to achieve national goals has been a key part of the digital transformation plan of the Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy. And so to bring this plan to fruition, the ministry is working with SAIL Innovation Lab in Ikorodu area of Lagos State to train young tech talents in the field. They partner with Elwari AI for continuous talent sourcing for the emerging AI industry in Nigeria.
In line with the Honorable Minister's strategy to create jobs, to have economic empowerment in Nigeria. So these people have gone through this training program and now they're fully employed, developing technology that is world-class. And so why are we doing this? A lot of people might have heard about artificial intelligence. It is the most potent, most powerful technology in the world right now. And it's the next step in the human story.
The co-founder of the lab and the senator representing Lagos East says the partnership with Awari AI signals the beginning of a transformative journey in Ikorodu.
Those who know, we didn't start from here. We started from 68 Benson Road. That was where we started, and that used to be my constituency office. We used it for the campaign. One campaign was over. I said, my people, see, let's move aside and reconfigure. And we reconfigured and started. So we started from there, and I'm happy. You know, we have seen some of the first set of people that have joined us here.
For the Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Dr. Bosun Tijani, this is the first time in the history of Nigeria that we're able to fully harness the benefits of AI.
For the first time in Nigeria, hundreds of those people are being hired, and it is here in Ikorodu, but nowhere else. This is not a political rally. We may not understand the meaning of this, but it is extremely significant because the future that we all want to protect, the future that we want for our kids, we can only get it when we participate in the development of that future. Today we have decided to start on that journey. They've decided to create a new company with the opportunity. The senator has decided to team up with them to create something special, and we've decided it is going to start in Ikorodu. Ikorodu's name will forever be on the artificial intelligence map, moving forward from here.
As this partnership harmonizes seamlessly, it not only signifies a transformative journey unfolding, but marks an unprecedented chapter where the full benefits of AI are harnessed, propelling the nation into a new era of tech empowerment and economic growth.
South Sudan has held its cultural festival supported by the United Nations mission in the country. The multicultural gathering in Yambio, South Sudan brought together local partners, including the state's Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sports. The event also saw a showcase of cultural dances, songs and musical instruments that unified hundreds of people and representatives from different ethnic communities. The United Nations mission in South Sudan says the festival is part of efforts towards building durable and sustainable peace among the communities who have experienced one crisis or the other.
This function is to show our difference, our variety, our diversity in terms of culture. And the purpose is to be happy. And through that happiness, we can promote social cohesion, we can know each other more, we can appreciate each other more, and forget about the past challenges.
And finally, on the program, blue whales, the largest animals on Earth, are making their home in a part of the Indian Ocean where they were wiped out by whaling decades ago. Researchers and filmmakers in the Seychelles captured footage of the whales in 2020 and 2021. It features in the IMAX film Blue Whales 3D. But a year of underwater audio recording revealed the animals spend months in the region. Scientists say this means they could be breathing there. All the researchers, including scientists from the University of Seychelles, described the discovery as a conservation win after the Soviet whaling fleet decimated their population back in the 1960s.
Scientists are revealing the secrets of these rare giants.
And that's it on the program today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Layo Olarinde.